Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode with us. And this is the last episode of our 2020 Deer Camp special extravaganza. This is going to be a recap conversation of the third day as Danny and I are in the truck together, headed back home. And we will kind of go through the day, reflect a little bit on the hunt, kind of break down some things, talk a little bit about gear and some of the things that we were using and some of the stuff we have come to really love and trust. So we'll kind of get into all that stuff. But we are, most importantly, we probably touch a little bit on the buck that trigger shot. And if you have been following along with us, you would seen the buck, the big 12-pointer that he shot on our Instagram or Facebook pages. Of absolute giant buck, great buck, Brian's best whitetail ever. And the power of social media, it was pretty neat. About a day or so after we posted the stuff up on our Facebook page is where we got the interaction with an individual that lives in Pennsylvania and actually had a lot of history with this buck. Had been doing some writing about him and following him for a couple of years. So we're gonna connect with that fella here in the coming weeks and months. We want to try to get him on to have a conversation with him just to learn about what he's up to. He does a bunch of outdoor writing. And so learn a little bit about what he's up to, as well as kind of hear the story from his perspective of that buck and maybe some of the encounters or experiences he's had with him. And then Brian and Dallas and I, and I think I've talked about this, but I'm going to get at least the three of us together, if not maybe Danny and AJ, get a group of us together out here and kind of do a season recap and certainly hear Brian and Dallas's stories of their two bucks. 3 bucks actually, because Dallas shot a buck in PA on the last day of season last Saturday. So definitely been a good couple weeks here towards the end of gun, and now we are into the doldrums of the season. The last week of late season, we finally got some harsh weather. It's really been pretty cold around here in Western New York since it kind of started out last Sunday. But, all this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we had that storm come in and really pummeled the eastern half of New York State overnight yesterday, Wednesday into Thursday. And it's been cold all day today. So starting to see some more activity on the cameras, but the hunts have been pretty unproductive. I did make it out last night on Wednesday night for like the last hour of light and had a group of does come out the opposite end of the woods from me, which was kind of a bummer. I've really been after a doe. I really didn't hunt much at all during gun season after opening day because I filled my buck and doe tag and had the pressure off, so I was hanging close to home. And so now, of course, I want to go out and find a doe or two, and it's just not that easy. So the does kind of slipped me yesterday. The other sits I've had have been kind of skunks, and then and of course on my way home, it's 5:15, and there's loads of deer out in fields right by the road. So they're starting to congregate and get together in big groups. So it's just a matter of being in the right place at the right time. And that's the fun part of the late season, especially if you're trying to fill a doe tag. It's definitely a fun time to be out there. So a little update for you on the Harvey whitetail competition. It's Big Jim is still holding a lead of one white-tailed deer. He is trying hard to grow that lead, but he is failing miserably. And I hope he listens to this before he gets out this weekend just to make sure that it sinks into his head and creates any doubt that should be there, because he is marching a thin line right now, and I have good confidence that the couple times I'm going to get out, it's just, deer are just going to tip over. So Jimbo did go out tonight, and he missed a doe at 100 yards using his fancy schmancy lead sled on a bench in a ground blind. So if that tells you anything about the type of hunter he is, it's pretty pathetic that with your gun on a mechanical brace that you literally just have to sit there and pull the trigger, you miss a deer broadside at 100 yards. I just don't even understand how I could lose to this individual. So you can obviously tell where my spirits are at. I'm feeling super confident heading into this weekend and the last couple days next week, and it's going to be good. So all joking aside, good luck to everybody thanks for following along with us here on this little series from our trip a couple weekends ago. And I wish you all the best of luck the rest of the season. And we'll have another episode for you next week. So thanks again. Appreciate you following along. And keep feeding them. Hello. Yeah, that's your name.
Squirrels got me.
Big Jim.
Yeah.
Really, 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 really cold and fun.
Cold and fun.
Cold and fun.
That's good that you think that of it, because that's what deer hunting typically is cold and fun.
Yesterday morning, I'm glassing up on the pass, and I see these deer moving, and I'm like, ooh, there's some deer moving. All of a sudden, I just see this person just head down, just hauling ass, wearing shorts and a t-shirt with a pack on. And I'm like, is that Tard? My dad always talks about floating through the woods like the autumn breeze.
So Robert's
When you're
the
275 pounds, I don't know how you do that, but
The Freightliner. It's just like a creeper. You're just kind of up in the corner watching what's going on down there.
yeah.
You know.
He's like,
He's up there slapping it, pissing all over everything.
is it warm yet?
How did you know the name of the actor?
That's I know.
How did you say his name?
Hervé Villachez. Remember this?
You know what pert near means.
If you know what pert near means and you live in America, you're a redneck too.
Welcome to the Log Talk Podcast, brought to you by Pert Near Outdoors. We're all good.
Yeah.
All right, Danny boy, you want to kill those lights so I can see a
Yeah, I
little
guess I
better?
can.
Thanks.
Is this the first ever hunting podcast?
Yeah, hunting with Pert Near Outdoors. Think we're gonna try a new name, throwing it out there, and we'll get a little feedback, see if people like it or not. But well, buddy, it's just me and you. We're heading down some back roads here, heading north, back to our Ponderosas. So how you feeling? What are your thoughts? Day 3 in the books. 2020 deer camp.
I thought we turned it around today.
Yeah, we did.
We had a good day. I mean, one less buck on the ground today, and it would have been an awful day.
Right.
But that one was a nice one, so it made a big difference.
Yeah, and last night when we talked on doing the podcast, we were talking that we had 2 drives we wanted to try to do today, and we did both of those drives, and we had opportunities at bucks on both drives. And I missed a buck on the first drive. I was one of the sitters, and had a buck come through down straight across from me, coming up the other side, and he was seemed like he was in the open, but it must have been enough brush there to knock down my shot a little bit, because I went over there and there was no hide or hair, and the same deer that I shot at ended up going around the point there that was straight above where you were set up. You were right below me on the creek bottom, and the pushers were coming down to us, and that buck was kind of skirting ahead of the pushers, and I missed him twice, and the second shot was kind of a Hail Mary as he was going around into the hemlocks. So I sent another shot at him, and really didn't feel good about that shot, but the first shot I was hoping that I at least got him leaking a little, and oh god, but not so lucky. So that buck ended up going around the point and went right to Dan Jeffrey, and he got to take a shot, his first shot at a buck. So he clean miss. It was pretty funny getting the story from him, because it sounds like he just totally blacked out, and we've all been there, still been there, still happens sometimes. But he said he just, the deer was like 50 yards away, stopped broadside, and it looked pretty open. And he said he's like, it was just brown, and I put the crosshairs right on it, and I shot. And the deer just he didn't really jump like he hit him, and he turned and actually came back towards where he went when I saw him after I shot at him. And nobody ever saw him again. So I'm not exactly sure what happened there. We're thinking that he might have actually just been high. You said that Danny made a comment to you the other day when you guys were chatting that when he was sighting in his gun, it was like 4 inches high at 100,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
So that's that could be the culprit. If it was 4 inches high at 100 and it was under 100, it very well could have been 6-8 inches high. So, but good experience for him, and it was really fun hearing him come over the radio and knowing that that was him that shot. And we went over there and looked around quite a bit and followed the track back a little bit. I had followed the track all the way across the hill, and so never crossed any blood, no hair, no nothing. So judged a clean miss on that one. And after that, we headed back up around. I mean, this was that drive was altogether was about a 6.5 mile hike round trip to get in to sit and then out back to where we were going to start the second drive. So like us sitters, we got started about 40 minutes before everybody else, and we got we had I don't know, but what was yours? Mine was 3.5 miles on my tracker.
To the bottom?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it was that far. I think we were under 3
Okay.
to get to the bottom where we were.
AJ and we went all the way around that top, and that just took forever. It was, but we did it was like 3.2 miles, and did it in like an hour, and I think it was an hour and 14 minutes I did that.
You really, at the end of the day, could have just came in with us. We sat about 100 yards from each other.
No kidding. I don't really know why
took
we
complete opposite ways.
But we all got in there at the
around
same
there.
time.
Yeah, it worked pretty good.
Yeah. So we did that. So first drive, I would say, was a success. We had a buck opportunity, but we have no meat in the truck, so that I guess was unsuccessful. I don't ever. Side note: I don't ever remember driving this road before. Do you?
No,
this is a new road
you
to me.
were turning left onto this road, and I was like, okay, I guess
I'm following what
we're in an adventure here.
old Google says.
Yeah,
I mean, this is
we'll feed them.
This is some seasonal road if I ever seen one.
You know it's going to be a good road when you turn onto it, and there's a sign on there that says it's all green, and there's just a big 4-wheeler on it.
No,
You
I didn't
can-
even notice that.
ATVs are allowed.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that was the first thing I saw when we turned on
It's
here.
a pretty solid road, really. I'm impressed. So that was the first drive. We all kind of rallied back together. We had a nice sit-down lunch on a log as a group, and talked some smack back and forth. And we had already had the second drive drawn up, and we knew what we were going to do. So that was good. We didn't really waste any time there. We ate, and we were ready to rip and roll. Like, I think it was maybe 30 minutes. It was all. We took a break, and we split up. So you were one of the walkers with me on that drive, and this is a drive that we've done. We do every year, but we did it kind of almost backwards this year, and we dropped down on the backside of this clear cut down into this kind of valley that we've always hunted, and now we have this drive named the Wu-Tang Clan because it's like a W. I think it's a great name. I think we're starting to come up with some good names for these drives.
Yeah, I saw that the W on the map, on the topo map.
Just the
I
way
was
the
like, oh
hills-
man, this has got to be the Wu-Tang Drive.
Yeah, it's perfect. And Brad's the good drive. Brad wants to call that the Super Bowl because like every time we go through there, we end up kicking bucks up. So I think that's a great name. So we're starting to generate some
Cool,
good
I
names
like
of
that
these
one.
drives.
The
Yeah.
one where Jim's Big Adventure, that one?
No, that's
Oh.
that's Vogel Valley.
All right.
Yep. So we've got
What are you talking about? Which one's the Super
Super
Bowl?
Bowl's
then?
the one right next to the parking area, right? That bowl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The one we didn't finish yesterday?
one we didn't
Or
finish
the
on the
first
first day,
Yep. Okay.
Oh God. Probably should have stayed on the main road, but maybe this will get us home quicker.
Yeah.
Get us home for
Hope so.
bedtime. We shaved a minute off. If we were driving 24 hours, we'd be making some serious time. So, yeah, it was me, you, Dallas,
Brian,
AJ. Yep, Brian.
Jim.
Okay, we just named like all different people.
How'd we do?
Pretty. I think we covered everybody. So if everyone's tracking, so we did that. It was 6 of us, right? So 6 of us. We come down and drop. We all kind of dropped in at different spots, and we weren't 30 minutes in. We weren't even really set up for the drive yet. Dallas and Brian dropped down into an area that they're actively clear cutting right now. They're logging it, and we were just kind of curious because we hadn't hit that as a normal drive for us. We hadn't hit that yet because they were actively working down in there. But we got talking about it, and we're like, hey, maybe it would be beneficial to check that out. Even though they are working in there, that might be some of the best browse and food they might have to offer right now. Because that's one of the big things we took away from this last 3 days is really did not find. I found a couple spots with acorns, but it's hard to tell whether they were old acorns or if they were acorns from this year.
Yeah.
Because I know that some of those spots just produce so much acorns when they do that a lot of them just don't get eaten up and they just rot and die, or rot and just, what do we got here? I don't know. And so I was just thinking maybe that would be a good food source for them, those areas there where they're currently clear cutting. So Dallas and Brian, the two of them went together down into that valley, and AJ and I had split off from you and Jim, and it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't 30 minutes. And all of a sudden, I heard some gunshots, and it sounded, I don't know about to you, like it sounded really far away. But the way that the volley of shots, there was like 4 or 5 shots, like real quick. And I'm like, well, there's only one cowboy in town that could shoot like that.
Yeah, I knew right away whose shots those were just because they were, from us, they were close.
Yeah. Where did I go?
Maybe we'll start going this way from now on.
Yeah. I don't know. So those shots were coming from the one and only Trigger. And it was real tough because we had all these little ridges between us, so none of us could really hear. I couldn't hear anything. AJ was relaying to me what was going on. But Brian and Dallas, we'll end up, there's a nice deer right there. We'll end up getting Brian and Dallas on to tell the story about it because it was a pretty cool hunt for the two of them together. But Brian ended up shooting a slammer of a buck, 12-pointer, nice, dark, heavy rack. I mean, it was a beautiful buck.
Sweet.
Best deer we've ever shot ever down here. So probably, Brian's guessing he'll roughly score probably 140 inches, just to give everybody an idea what he is. We'll post some pictures up at some point, but pretty pumped. That was a good way to close out the week. By far, we hunted super hard, and then I would say by far one of the tougher years we've had over the last 2-3 years. But it'll be interesting to kind of sit back and reflect a little bit on this trip because, I think back to a few years that we have had like dry, just bad 3-day hunts where we didn't get any deer at all. There was a couple years like that, and I don't really remember that we ever identified whether there was good food, whether there was good acorns or anything like that on those years. But I just kind of wonder if that had something to do with it or not. Whether food was really driving the fact in the last couple of years that we were getting into them so hot and heavy. I don't know.
Yeah, and just a bad acorn crop this year would be the theory behind that?
Yeah. Or just they don't always produce as heavily as they, like some areas they say like have like a bumper crop. Like there's just an absurd amount of acorns. In the last couple of years, they've produced really, really well, and a lot of times they don't do that every year. The trees, and this was it was a very dry summer. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but those creeks in the bottom were dry.
Yeah.
That drive we did at the end today, there was no water in either one of those creeks that I walked up across.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And those are usually running pretty good, like foot deep. So for those to be dry, when we were talking to that local yesterday that was down in the bottom of that, down by the creek in that first drive, he was telling me he lives somewhere in the area, and he said they just had a bad acorn year where a lot of them fell early. I think it was so dry they fell early, and worms got them, and a lot of them rotted. Huh. And then a lot of the acorns were just small. I think that could be caused a little bit too by just a lack of moisture, so the trees didn't have the nutrition and stuff to put into the acorns. I could be totally full of shit with all that, but it sounds good.
Yeah, and I'll add to that, and it doesn't have to be one reason necessarily, just foot traffic this year was crazy.
Yeah.
We're walking 2 miles down a logging road from the truck, and there's boots on the ground. Like, there's boot traffic there, and we normally, in my opinion, don't see boot traffic in those areas.
No.
I don't know if people are just going farther in than they have been because they know they're starting to learn that that's where these deer are or what, but like just about everywhere we went had boot traffic. There were bike tires in the one spot where we were today because it would be super easy to access those places that you can't get a truck down those logging roads with a bike. So that was kind of on top of my mind too, as something else that might have been leading to why we weren't seeing as many deer as we normally do.
Yeah. And the other thing, it seems like there was, in past years, it seemed like we would run into a little bit of like almost rutting activity, where there'd be a bunch of bucks and some does in an area. Didn't seem to be any of that going on this year. And I didn't see as much buck sign as I normally feel like I do. And I covered maybe more ground than I ever have. And just the way it worked out, I walked. The only drive I didn't walk officially was the first drive today. And
then with that, we probably walked as
just
far
as much or more than the pushers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We walked a shitload on that drive. So
there wasn't the volume of rubs. There wasn't the volume of scrapes. So whether, who knows? Whatever caused it not to be the volume of bucks. We only had, in 3 days of full hunting with 10 guys, in a couple days we had a couple extra. There was only Brian's buck that he shot, and I guess there was another one with Brian's buck today that they didn't get have an opportunity to take a shot at, but couldn't see what he was. I had a little buck yesterday that wasn't legal. Brian had a buck on the first day that wasn't legal. They couldn't put brow tines on it anyway, and Jim shot his buck. So there's 5 bucks total. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
we usually have a lot more just even shooting.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's, we're paying more attention to this stuff now. I think in the past it was just like, this year was the most sober we've ever been at a deer camp. So, that's not a horrible thing. So now we can remember
You're
more.
Not wrong.
Yeah. And we'll be getting home tonight and not in rough shape. I mean, physically I'll be exhausted, but I won't be mentally, and I don't know my liver won't be crying, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm pretty excited.
I got all day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Do whatever. Take care of the kids. Let Sarah go somewhere. Leave us.
Yeah, we're going to get a Christmas tree tomorrow, so.
Nice. We got ours like 2 weeks ago.
Bills play Monday night. It's going to be a hell of a week.
It's going to be great.
Pretty excited. I got a New York State buck tag, and I'm going to fill it in the next 2 weeks.
You better fill it. You got almost 3 weeks with muzzleloader.
Yeah. They gave us Wednesday and a full day Thursday off before Christmas now.
Yeah.
So I might try to parlay that into Monday to Tuesday off.
Yeah, why not?
And just those are the last 2 days of season.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
I'm pretty excited about that.
I'm fixing to try to take those last 2 days myself. See how things are going. But yeah, another hunt in the books. It's always fun hunting with you, Danny boy. You're my hunting buddy. So
always enjoy it.
It is fun.
It's been a fantastic trip.
I'm sorry if I boss you around and I always walk us in the wrong direction.
I think we get on each other's nerves every once in a while, and that's what a good friendship is.
Yeah, you know what pisses me off when we talk about what we're going to do and we look at the map, and then you're asking stupid-ass questions. It pisses me off.
It's because I always think I know what we're doing.
I know. And I always know what I think I know what we're doing. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, just follow me. And then next thing you know, we're 300 yards off track.
Yeah, how'd that go for you yesterday? You got yourself lost. I got myself lost the first night.
I was not lost. I was alone. Okay, there's a difference. There's a difference. And I almost did it to AJ today, and I felt awful because we were
Yeah.
coming up out of that first drive, and it dawned on me. I was like, oh shit! Was AJ supposed to come with us? And he was on the complete opposite side, and I didn't know if I'd be able to get him on the radio. But everything worked out. Everybody's fine. We're all going home to our families.
Yeah, those new rhinos are money. That might be, if I could sell mine for a decent amount of money.
You think they're that much better?
Oh yeah, man. I was next to Jim, and he had one of those 700s.
Yeah.
And it was working a lot better. There was multiple times today where I think I was with Jim and I was with Danny, and I had to have them say stuff over the.
Yeah, AJ was
over
hearing
there.
stuff that I couldn't hear, and I was standing right next to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's something to that. I also was not running lithium batteries this weekend, and I will never do that again because those just regular batteries, double A's I was using, and they just couldn't handle the
power.
No.
Yeah, I wonder if that would make a difference for me. I've been using the Energizer Maxes,
Yeah.
I think, a lot lately, and I've had good luck with them.
It's really.
Sorry. I've lectured about the importance of using lithiums, and this year I've, between all the trail cameras and then all this other electrical stuff I'm using, I'm like, I can't just keep spending all this money on batteries. I'm like, it's freaking crazy how much money I spend on batteries. But then I go and been running Rayovacs, and because a lot of people talk about using Rayovac batteries, and I'm just not pleased with them either. Like, I'm not even getting a full day out of a set of 4 batteries in my Rhino, and if I'm not, and it also is it hurting me getting performance wise? Like, am I not getting the range? Am I not?
Deer.
Where?
Right
Oh.
there.
I got a doe tag.
Filled it.
Almost killed one of Santa's reindeer. I was headed right for the Christmas lights. Dude, I was thinking about this. There's so much pressure up in there right now.
Yeah.
In that area, that the deer would be stupid not to just head down to town where people aren't hunting.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
No.
I mean, I know that we were not in the place we needed to be, and it's possible the place we needed to be was where no one else was. Town
hunting.
Sweden Valley in front porch.
Yeah, exactly. What else say? So one of the things I want to do, we've talked about it, but have never really done it. This has probably been the best year whitetail wise for me, like using gear and figuring out like my setup, and I'm in love with everything I've got right now. I just feel like everything has a place, like all the stuff I'm carrying is needed. I just feel really good about it. Like, I want to do a podcast after the season, and just like get together and just like talk about our packs and what we're carrying.
Yeah.
Because I'm just super pleased. Super pleased.
I felt so dialed in on this trip gear wise. Like, it was just every morning I put on the same clothes and just went about my business.
It was
and I
easy.
never questioned necessarily what I was using. I just I thought about a lot of times like, oh, could I lighten up my load a little bit here and there? But today we were sitting for an hour or two, and I got kind of cold down there in the bottom, so I was glad I had those extra layers in my pack. And I don't know, at the end of the day I was really happy with like everything I needed to perform this weekend performed.
Welcome to the Empire State, where your rights and privileges are gone as an American citizen. Yes.
That was pretty funny. That was really good.
Yeah. It feels different here, doesn't it? I feel like
I just had like an astounding pressure put down on my shoulders.
Yep. My testosterone levels just dropped immediately.
You got one of those Cuomo stickers on your back window, don't you?
I do now, yeah. I came across the border.
Andy's always looking.
It slaps it on there. Yeah. One of the guys at work he's got a, the big COVID, he's got the big plexiglass thing in front of his desk,
Yeah, gotcha.
All of our desks have them at work. And he's got a little thing of like Como like peeking over.
Yep.
Have you seen
That's
those?
what I'm talking about, yeah.
It's really like a stick
Oh,
on.
that's fucking
And it's just
hilarious.
Cuomo's face, like his nose up with his like little hands sitting there, like looking up over the desk.
They were big around Thanksgiving because people were putting them in their windows around Thanksgiving because
Yeah.
he's watching you and make sure you didn't have 12 people at your dinner table.
Yeah.
That's the funny shit.
Yep. Crazy times. But yeah, we'll have to be another podcast, but we really don't talk a whole lot about our gear and what we're using, and we've all got a pretty good variation. None of us are using like the same thing. So I think it'd be interesting to, and we're doing different styles of hunting. Like Jimbo he really just hunts, for the most part, he stand hunts. He does some pushing with our friends, but it's not, for the most part, he's stand hunting, and still hunting. But like, this is a total different game. Like getting out and doing this is like Western style hunting for deer, and kind of, obviously you're not pushing when you're out west, like we're not, but just the style of leaving the truck with a backpack on and like surviving out of that backpack for the whole day, and you learn a lot about what you need and what you don't need. It's pretty quick. What do we got? A little deer camp going on here, or is it a restaurant? Or
Yeah,
something?
it's something. Little barbecue place. There's a bar back there we just passed called Just One More. I think that was a great bar name.
That's a great bar name. That'd be a good name for our podcast. Just
Yeah,
one more.
Just One More.
Shut up, Billy. Just one more. You got anything else to add, buddy?
Yeah, I just thought about something that I wanted to do. It was on the gear topic, but it's save it for another day.
Well, don't tease that. Just bring
I
it up.
thought teasers are good in the podcast
Teasers are
game,
good,
aren't
but
they?
yeah, but it's just say it. It's hard to get you to talk. So if you want to talk.
Yeah, I forgot what it is already.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my god.
I'm drinking. It's
Yeah.
all right.
If you ain't drinking,
happens.
you ain't thinking. Oh my god. So Pete Haynes today. So we're down on the. I meet up with him down in the spot where he's not supposed to be. He's one of the sitters.
Yeah.
He is way too far. Like he basically pushed out the whole valley, getting into his spot to be a sitter, and so we get down there, and him and we're just smart, just making small talk, and I said to him, what did I say? I said something. I think I said something about it's like great because at this point we knew Brian shot a big buck. We didn't know what it looked like or any of the details. We just knew it was a 12-pointer, and it was a buck of a lifetime for Potter County, and I said something to Pete about it, and his response is, just typical Pete. He goes, "Fucking L right." I'm like, so I didn't even. I just laughed, and I'm like, absolutely, and I'm like, what is that even? I'm like, did he mean to say that? Or no, he said fucking L is what he said. But like, how some people say like fucking A, right?
Yeah.
I was wondering if maybe it was
Like he got the expression wrong.
or maybe that's a Peter.
That's a Pete
Michael
Pete
Hayniski expression.
Yeah. I don't know.
Just thought that was funny. It's explicit, but it's funny. And Pete, God bless him. So this trip, we have a whole, it's a whole new group of young blood, really. When you really look at it over the last few years, we didn't have Robert because he's recovering from shoulder surgery. No Crispy, and Pete. So now Pete was the only guy that was
Over 40 years old.
40 years old, yeah.
And he's 60?
Yeah, and he has been flooring for his entire life, and his knees are shot. And I'll give him credit. It's still hard getting down and doing something. This morning he did that drive. He probably walked 5.5, 6 miles this morning. I give him a lot of credit.
He walked the same as we did for the most part.
He's not wearing fancy hunting gear.
I'm not going to be doing that when I'm 60. I know that much.
Hell no. So I give him a lot of credit. It's a good hunt. It's fun. Got some more memories, and hopefully next year we'll be back to everybody being in camp together, and we'll have more hangovers. And
yeah, I remember what I was thinking about earlier.
Oh,
Yeah, got it. I think I'm going to get into more of a day-to-day food and drink, like baggy sort of deal.
Like mixing it up.
No, just have like a Thursday bag
Yeah.
and a Friday bag and a Saturday bag, because I just had a bunch of food thrown in to a dry sack, and I was just kind of
Carrying it around.
picking food out. No, I had my day food for Thursday planned, and I never eat all of it because I carry enough for like a day and a half in case some shit ever hit the fan.
Right.
So I never go through all my food, and I just replenish a little bit, whatever. I really need to just like have a bag. If I don't go through it, I pull that bag and I just put the new bag in, and like just have everything I need in there, because I was looking for some drink powder today. I was looking for some candies and different stuff. Like I wanted to, before we dropped down into there, I knew we were going to be busting our balls getting down into there and back up. I looked on the topo, and it was like 700 feet of elevation to climb out of that hellhole.
Yeah.
So I was like, I didn't have any sort of like quick energy on me that I was hoping to get, just like any sort of pick me up, and that almost weighed on me like mentally. Like I was just like man, I need to pick me up, and just I didn't have anything on me.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And one thing that I would like to do, although I survive and it's simple and easy and like literally takes no effort, I've been making peanut butter. This is kind of what I might go to, but doing it 3 days in a row, it kind of gets a little old.
Yeah.
Like I just take a wrap, and I put chunky peanut butter and trail mix in the wrap, and then wrap it up and put it in my pack. And I have a Ziploc bag with some like snack bars, protein bars, and then I have that wrap and some extra trail mix. I love freaking trail mix and peanuts. So literally it's all I ate for 3 days. Like, and it's dry. It's all salt. Like but it fills me up. It gives me energy, and it's a lot of calories right at once. So like it's good, but I don't know. It would be nice to have, maybe a little variety, but the simplicity of it is, if it's just a 3-day deal, like if I was going out west on like a 5 or 6 day hunt and I was going to be living out of a tent and not having, like, at least we were having decent dinners at night, like that makes a big difference. But I don't know. It's food's an important thing. What are those boys doing? Recognize that truck.
Yeah. Big buck in the back of that truck.
Big buck in the truck. So yeah, food's a big one. And then I think another thing is that I may try wearing like an ankle, and some sort of an ankle brace on my right foot. Like I have a hard time. It's always my right foot. For whatever reason, oh, Jesus, buddy. He's got his gun with him too, don't he? What the hell? My right foot is the foot that always gets tired, and I'm like rolling it over. Yeah. Not like rolling it, twisting it, but like I have a really hard time keeping that foot, like that ankle, straight when we're walking on the side hills. My left foot, I don't have the issue with it. My right foot, I always seem to be battling that. So like I wonder if I wore like those ankle,
just get a slip on,
like those
sleeve.
lace up, like those lace up ones that used to have like for playing basketball and stuff. Yeah. I think I've got a couple of them kicking around from ankle injuries I had. I might try something like that in the future when we're doing hunts, like where I can just give myself some more stability, because my boots they're just not providing enough lateral support. There's plenty of, my feet are good, my bottoms of my feet are good, but it's the lateral, sideways back and forth.
When we went straight up that hill to get out of the first drive today, my ankles were toast.
Really?
I thought my ankles were going to be done for the day. I was like, this is not good. Like, I did not think I was going to be in a good spot, but they recovered fine. But I get what you're saying. And like you could even, like, I've been wearing the last 2 days these knee braces, and I think they help a lot for me.
Just compression.
Yeah, I think even just a compression sleeve on your ankle would probably do a lot. I used to have one for basketball, just
Yeah.
kind of like a.
See, but for me, it's not even so
Thin
much like a
sleeve.
compression. It's like I need
You need
like
the support.
stability. Like I could almost need to like have somebody tape my or just tape my ankle up. Like that's literally what I feel like it needs.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, I mean, I was pretty happy. But I feel like when you're walking that much side hills for a day or then 3 days straight, it's like your feet you're gonna have some issues. But at the end of the day, pretty happy. Everything performed well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it, Danny. That is it. Let's wrap her up, and we can just
Yeah.
talk about stuff that we can't talk about on here the rest of the
Yeah,
way.
I'm excited about
Sound
that.
good?
Yeah.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. Thanks for listening to the first hunting podcast.
Hunting podcast. I'm gonna do. You like that?
I mean,
I kind of like it.
it's all right.
We'll have to see if anybody else has got one.
It's a good placeholder for the time being.
Yeah, we'll just
Hunt.
change the name every other year and just see what sticks.
Could you spell it some strange, like make it sound like hunting? I don't know.
I don't. Like, how else would you spell it? It'd have to be just hunting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because we don't say hunting. No, I'm going hunting. No, you're going hunting
Yeah,
with an apostrophe after the end, right?
yeah.
You could be feeding them and you're hunting. That's what we're all about. All right, wrap her up. Peace out. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed our 2020 hunting camp recap. And if you don't like it, that's too bad because that's what it is. And I apologize if the 2 nights in camp were a little boring because we were all fairly low energy. And that would be because we were all completely exhausted, and we just ate massive dinner, and
Yeah.
we just didn't have a lot of fuel left in the tank. But that's it. So, any final words, Danny?
Keep feeding them.
Nice, good job. That was better than last night's. See ya.